We need to pull our heads out of the sand because we are refusing to see what's happening. We need to see the problem to change it and to change ourselves.
The Interplanetary Podcast. The exploration of space for the benefit of all mankind. Your hosts here in London, Matthew Russell and Jamie Franklin.
Oh yeah, baby Luca Parmitano.
Luca Parmitano. The beautiful ISS commander.
A European in charge of the International Space Station, and that was his that was part of his speech that he gave to the United Nations.
We're united, aren't we, me and you?
Oh yeah, big time.
And what's our goal?
Our goal is to unite all nations on Earth.
And to get them to subscribe to the podcast, right?
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
kidding.
big time.
I'm kidding, of course, as if that would be our motivation. But please tell your mates.
Absolutely. Jamie, whereabouts are you in the world today, talking of nations?
I find myself in the wonderful city of Mumbai on the west coast of India.
Well, I never.
I sent you a little snap earlier of me stalking the local aerospace office. Sorry if any of them saw me. I didn't have time to go in, but tomorrow I'm hoping to get down to the old space centre to see if I can grab an interview. So you never know. I'm hoping I will succeed. But it's a wonderful place. If you haven't been, I highly recommend it. It is people are so friendly. The food is, I mean, Matt, you talk about Birmingham curries. It's nothing on what I had yesterday. Trust me.
I'm sure.
It's a magical place. And I've been working very hard, but tomorrow I fly home, but not till the evening. So I'm hoping to, see a bit of the space area. I will report back with my findings.
Did you need any of that Imodium that you packed?
No, do you know what? Touch wood. My guts have behaved themselves. I think it's because I haven't drunk that dirty pond water that you recommended.
So, Jamie, I'm going to do a shout out to two of the ace level Patreons.
Oh.
Tasmanian legend Justin Young.
Oh, God, younger.
And UK legend Justin Roberts.
Seriously, you guys are just incredible.
And you don't have to be called Justin to become ace level. Justines are also welcome, Jamie, and any other name, actually. I don't think there is any stipulation on name to become.
There really isn't.
No.
I mean, yes, they are double legend status.
So come join the growing gang of Spodcats.
Come and join us. But thank you very much to everybody who is joining up. It means that we can continue to do this absolute nonsense. So thank you for listening. We read out some reviews of the podcast between us, and you know, despite the odd one or two people that we upset for our politic talks, or mainly me. Sorry, Matt. But everyone else seemed to leave a lovely review. We're so glad you seem to like what we do.
The only negative reviews were from people who were global warming deniers, actually.
I was going to say, it makes me question it, and I'm not too bothered about them. Are you, Matt?
It's the weird thing is said that we were getting political. Climate science isn't politics. It's just science.
It's just facts.
Well, let's go with it's an overwhelming scientific consensus that the globe is warming due to anthropological causes. And we need to do something about it, as Luca Parmitano was talking about in that opening sentence, Jamie.
He absolutely was. Now, talking of important things, I think everyone's favourite thing on this show is your space nugget. Have you got one for me?
I have got a space nugget, and space nugget is, of course, space nugget of the week, and it's winter time, so that's...
Is there a jingle?
That's snow. We should have some jingle bells maybe for that. Space nuggets of the week.
Christmas style.
Yes, Brevard County in Florida, or some people know it as the Countdown County because, of course, of its because it's so near to Cape Canaveral. Back in 1999, America was rejigging its area codes and was about to award Chicago with the area code 321. But a chap called Robert Osmond was not caught napping. Just as a local resident of the Brevard County, he managed a petition that they should get 321 as their area code.
Genius. That's easy to remember, isn't it?
Ever since 2000, the Countdown County has had 321 as their dialing code, which I think is pretty cool.
It's very apt, and I love that. And it's one of my favourite songs by an artist called Conor Oberst.
Oh, I love Conor Oberst. Really good.
Oh, yeah.
Space Mission of the Week, Jamie. Space Mission of the Week. Yeah.
Here we go.
So, a camera aboard a space probe has confirmed an asteroid phenomenon.
Doing!
So, did you know this? Back in 1923, so almost the 100th anniversary, Thomas Edison started the United States Naval Research Laboratory.
The NRL?
Exactly. US Navy and Marine Corps Science Laboratory. And their remit is to kind of look into space science and plasma physics and all these kind of things, material science, to help with warfare, I suppose, and give the Americans that military edge. And they spend $1 billion every year and employ 2,600 staff, of which about 90 are from the military. But despite popular belief, the Parker Solar Probe has a camera on it. Now, I read quite a few things that they didn't have a camera because if it had a camera and it pointed at the sun, it would melt.
Yeah, surely.
But it does have a camera that looks slightly away from the sun, that gives it an enormous wide field from 13 to 108 degrees away from the sun. Almost like a coronagraph style image. A coronagraph is where you have where you're looking at a very bright object, but you put an object in the way of that bright object so that you can see the sort of dimmer stuff around it.
Well, that's kind of simple but clever.
So it never actually points at the sun, but just to the edge of where the sun is. And so this video camera is whizzing around. Well, I say video camera. It's two cameras on telescopes, highly sensitive instruments that are whizzing around on the Parker Solar Probe, which has just done one of its orbits very near the sun. And all the science is coming back. And this is one of them. The wide field imager for Solar Probe, WISPR, has been sending back some images. Now, the purpose of WISPR is to look at some of the things like the solar corona, coronal streamers, plumes, coronal mass ejections. But this week's discovery is actually something else.
Matt, you're saying some of my favourite things. Whispers, coronas. Oh, keep going, son.
Exactly. Chocolate bars, orange drinks. So there's a chap called Carl Battams, and this is what he said. He says, "This is why NRL's heliospheric images are so groundbreaking. They allow you to see near-sun outflows massively fainter than the sun itself, which would otherwise blind our cameras. And in this case, you can also see solar system objects extremely close to the sun, which most telescopes cannot do." So this is Battams at a press conference, a NASA press conference this week. And I've seen quite a lot of his work on astronomy photo of the week.
Oh, yeah.
Of the day, you know. And quite a few of his commentary images make their way onto then. But he's identified a dust cloud trailing behind the asteroid 3,200 Phaethon, spelt Phaethon, Phaethon.
Well pronounced. Sounds like a character from Marvel, doesn't it?
It does, Phaethon. Well, Phaethon is, in Greek mythology, the son of the solar deity Helios.
Ooh, okay.
And I think one of the daughters of Titan, one of the sea titans, I don't know. Phaethon, really interesting object indeed, Jamie. Do you want a rundown of some of the interesting things?
Rattle off some bullets.
It's the first asteroid ever to be discovered using images from a spacecraft.
Ooh.
Back in 1983, the Infrared Astronomical Satellite, or IRAS.
That is sick, man.
That's pretty cool. It's an Apollo asteroid, and do you know what an Apollo asteroid is?
Isn't it an Earth-crossing asteroid?
It certainly is. So yes, its perihelion is smaller than Earth's orbit, but the aphelion is larger. So in other words, it goes in and out of the solar system, but across Earth's path, which is a bit like Bennu and Ryugu that have been, of course, America and Japan have had their little spacecraft around. Just like the Chelyabinsk meteor that exploded over Russia back in 2013. Remember that one?
Yes, I do remember. Well, I've got one for you, Matt. It's also a PHA, which you know what that stands for, don't you?
A potentially hazardous asteroid.
Dun, dun, dun. Luckily, we know the position of it with great certainty, at least for the next 400 years. The 2017 Earth approach distance of about 10 million kilometres, 27 times the moon distance, and it will get 5 times closer in 2093. How old will you be in 2093, Matt?
About 95 or something like that. Something like that.
That's so funny.
Yeah,
it's such a lie.
Yeah. So imagine that, 10 million kilometres, but they know its accuracy to within 700 metres, not even a kilometre.
God,
a little bit shorter than a racetrack. Its orbit brings it close to the sun, closer than any other named asteroid. So it comes within 13 million miles. So that's 7 times closer than the Earth and twice as near as Mercury gets to the sun.
Now, I've got one for you. You know, Matt, I love a surname. Harvard legend Fred Whipple. That's Fred Whipple of Comet's a Dirty Snowball fame, pointed out shortly after the discovery that the Phaethon is the cause of the Geminids. Am I pronouncing that right?
I think Geminids or Geminids, yeah.
Geminids or Geminids meteor shower. Very odd for an asteroid to be creating a meteor shower.
A bit of a coincidence. It peaks today and tomorrow, the Geminids.
Oh, my God.
So go out and see the Geminids, and you will see the Earth effectively moving through the tail of Phaethon.
God damn.
So that's pretty cool, isn't it? And that's what causes this meteor shower. But it's quite odd for an asteroid to be causing it. It's normally comets. So it's got a highly eccentric orbit for an asteroid. And so it's kind of more like a comet. So it's like a cross between a dead comet and an asteroid. And sometimes it's referred to as the Rock Comet.
Horns in the air. So, Matt, using NASA's Stereo spacecraft, dust tails have been observed, and in 2010, Phaethon was detected ejecting dust. Maybe that's the sun's heat causing fractures similar to mud cracks in a dry lake bed.
Do you want to hear the strangest fact of them all?
Go on.
It's blue. It's actually blue. This thing is blue.
That's my favourite colour too.
You're going to watch a blue video of Phaethon.
Stay, Alan, the podcast is blue.
Yeah. So, yeah, you can watch a blue video of Phaethon as it passes near Earth.
Blimey.
Yeah, so it gets to 800 degrees Celsius as it gets near to the sun, and that's enough to turn the metals on the asteroid into a goo.
Oh my God. That is like one of our Venus facts, isn't it?
So we did talk about Ryugu a second ago, and the Japanese JAXA are going to fly a very exciting mission called Destiny Plus, and you'll love what Destiny is an acronym for.
Oh God, here we go.
Demonstration and experiment of space technology for interplanetary voyage Phaethon flyby dust science.
Jesus Christ.
They have really eked out Destiny from that. I don't know how, but they have.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Come on, people.
Destiny. And that's in 2025 it's planned to do it's going to do that flyby, and it's planned to launch in a couple of years.
Couple of what?
Years.
Oh.
And so Carl Battams suggests that this dust trail that he's spotted using WISPR is 14 miles long and weighs billions of tons. It's weird, isn't it, to think of these dust tails as just weighing billions of tons.
This is the thing. Dust doesn't really normally equate in our heads to being heavy.
Here's the tantalizing thing. He says that something catastrophic happened to Phaethon a couple of thousands of years ago and created the Geminid meteor shower. There's no way the asteroid is anywhere near active enough when it's near the sun to produce the mass of dust we're seeing. So we are confident that WISPR is seeing part of the Geminid meteor stream.
Now that was actually, Matt, a pretty good accent.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, it's all right.
He wants to thank his colleagues Brendan Gallagher, Guillermo Stenborg, and Russell Howard, the English comedian, or possibly another Russ Howard.
Could be.
That isn't Russell Howard, the English comedian.
What about Matthew Knight and Mike Kelly?
He thanks them, UMD astronomers. Matthew Knight
is it
and
Kelly
Mike.
Or is it Keeley?
Who knows? I think Kelly. Let's go with Kelly. Or Keeley.
Let's go with Kelly.
L-E-Y. So that is part of this first batch of Parker Solar Probe data that scientists are getting extremely excited about.
I mean, that was all great and all, but I've got a more exciting question for you. Who was the first Scottish astronaut?
Do you know, this one, really, we should have celebrated this a little bit more, shouldn't we? Because this year...
Well, that's why we're doing it, surely.
Yeah, 2019 saw a Brit go into space. And we kind of passed us by, didn't the first Scot ever into space happened this year. Dave McKay, who flew Richard Branson's Virgin VSS Unity higher and faster than any of the Virgin Galactic's previous missions.
Get in, Dave McKay.
And so, yes, he went above what NASA call the official boundary for space back on Loretta's birthday, February the 22nd. But the reason why I'm talking about it is because he's been made an honorary PhD at Robert Gordon University and named him a Doctor of Technology.
Well, congratulations, Dave. And would you like me to read the quote?
Read the quote. Remember, he's a Scot.
I hope that someone maybe takes some inspiration from my journey from a small Highlands village to space.
Where was he from?
It's got to be north of the border anyway.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
Incredible stuff. So good work, Dave. We should, Matt, because we're trying this week to have a little bit of a shorter episode.
Yeah.
We apologise for the 10-hour episodes recently, but we just get carried away. We do have a fantastic interview with... our mate Xavier, don't we?
We certainly do. We've got to do a shout out though, Jamie.
Here we go.
I've got to do a shout out to Neil Bionic Surgeon Hopper, friend of Patreon Bob, and he lost both his legs to sepsis last year, but he's returned to work as a surgeon in Roger Taylor and Loretta's birth town of Truro.
Incredible, inspiring.
Jamie, do you want to listen to Xavier De Kestelier's interview?
Roll it.
Écoutez.
The Interplanetary Podcast, putting the ace back into space.
Can you actually tell us a little bit about yourself and what model we're actually looking at here, because it's looking pretty fascinating, and it will tie in with what we had a habitat month a couple of months ago, and we talked about this, and so it'd be great to hear it from the horse's mouth.
Of course.
So,
Hi. So I'm an architect, and I've been involved in space habitats for quite a few years. The one we're showing here at the Design Museum is the latest one I've done. So it's for a NASA competition, and I'm doing this with a Hassel Studio. We're looking here at a model of the habitat, and to really kind of show a little bit what is kind of different of what we've done here to the habitats I've done before, is that we really took in a lot more science and engineering, right? So halfway to the competition, we decided to call a few friends, and friends of friends. So we called some Martian scientists, Martian geologists, roboticists. We've had space anthropologists, radiation experts, and we invited them for a little conference, a little symposium. Everybody had a little short slot. And what we really did is we hung up all our drawings and our models in a big room, and we told all the scientists and engineers, tell us what's wrong with this, right? Just hack into it. Let us know what is wrong. What did we do wrong? And we had 4-hour discussion with everybody drawing on top of our drawings, making markups, changing stuff. And that was so important, to work with the scientists, with the engineers. But as a designer, you're kind of like choreographing it. You're the MC, you're the conductor of this whole thing, because you don't really know that much about everything, right? I'm just a space enthusiast, right? I'm not a scientist or an engineer. So, but that central role as a designer, we think is super important. And then we even went further. So we then maybe kind of look at the drawings here. There's two drawings, they're really important. The right-hand side you see is a isometric of the architecture. You see the shell structure, which is there to protect against radiation. Then we have the inflatables, right, which is your pressurized environment, and then of course all the interior in that. But as the architect, you need to think about how all that stuff is deployed on Mars, how it lands on Mars, how it gets to Mars, how it gets into Earth orbit, and that's here, the mission architecture. And for that, we work together with Cranford University, with their space engineering students. So their task... Dust storm approaching, sorry.
Yeah.
Well, it's alarm going off here. Yeah. So we worked with these students, and one of their tasks was for that year, one of their projects was looking at our design and working with us together to make sure the mission architecture actually works out. So we have about 34 SLS launches. We have 3 missions to Mars with our version of a Martian transfer vehicle, and then the landing pods, of course. And you see underneath, how long it would take. The whole mission, we calculated, would take about 10 years in total. From the first launch of the robots that will autonomously start printing the shell structure, to then the astronauts being back on Earth, the whole mission. Astronauts will be there about over a year.
Okay, it's quite nice that there's the sound of the museum anyway. So, I mean, the first thing that I noticed is when we were doing when we were looking at space habitats. Obviously, we got quite a lot of listeners that sort of wrote in and said things. And one of the kind of objections to some of the kind of single unit habitats was that there's no sense of community. Whereas it looks like on this design that you've tried to build in that sense of community. Was that something that came up?
Well, one of the things that we did here is, you need to protect yourself from radiation and all that, so you need to be enclosed, right? But as humans, we like to view out, don't we? It's nice to have a space that you can look across. So if you look over there, what we have, we're looking at the courtyard. We're in the one-to-one mock-up now, with a big video wall, and we're looking at another part of the Mars habitat. We probably see some astronauts over there walking around, working. And we thought it was important to have that idea that you can be in a space and look at another space and you're not in that other space, right? Yeah. In the ISS, you're kind of in a dark corridor all the time, right? So we thought it was important. And why were we able to do that? Well, think about a courtyard on Earth, Mediterranean, right? Somewhere in Tunisia or something. What is a courtyard good for? It brings in light indirectly, but not direct sunlight, and you get a lovely view across. And that's what we did here. The difference, of course, is that sunlight there brings gamma radiation, which is deadly, and it's not like on Earth they just get a bit hot or a tan. But still, we use the same idea. It's a courtyard, right? So it's not a technological engineering solution. It's actually a pure architectural solution for a rather hard engineering problem.
Yeah. Is there any plans to build an analogue anywhere of this particular habitat design? I mean, I know that they're thinking of doing similar sort of things out in United Arab Emirates, aren't they? And
There's like a few places that are looking at it, and in Iceland, Atacama Deserts. There's been many around. For me, this is kind of my first one. As it's in a design museum.
Right. Yeah.
But for me, this is my first test. Right? And I would love to get involved with a real analog somewhere in a remote place. Because if you look at those, they're never really designed.
Yeah.
Right? And I just still do not understand. They do a mission to Mars 500. They put people in a space for 500 days. And they don't actually design it really nicely. They somehow, the psychological effect of your environment is so important. It's a bit like this, right? Look at the ISS, how messy it is, right? How happy and content aren't you when you cleaned up your house? Aren't you in a complete psychological different space when it's all neat and tidy and all,
Well, the ISS seems like the absolute antithesis to Zen or something like
Oh, yeah. Is it like...
Not Zen, it's Nez.
No, exactly. And you know why? Because I don't think it's well designed. Right?
Yeah.
There's not too many designers involved.
It's been designed by engineers.
Exactly. And then you might think, well, it must be. Well, maybe we don't need design, right? Because it's optimum because the engineer's done it. I would argue that it's completely different. Think about this, right? ISS, loads of corridors, loads of science racks that there's sometimes work on. But most of the time not. They set up experiments and then go and do something else. So they're not there the whole time. So think about this, like the space in front of the rack is not used all the time. So we came up with this idea, where we have a radial racking system that's movable, right? So we can just open the racks, go in, do some work, and close it again. And the racks are then connected to this, the ring beam almost, or the ring conduit on the side. That brings in water, air, electricity, data, whatever they need to actually operate any of the racks. But then a rack can also become a kitchen. A rack can become a wardrobe. So they kind of all the same size, but they have different functions.
So when you first did your initial design and invited all the scientists, engineers, everyone down, what was the obvious mistakes, or what were the obvious things that they were sort of digging into straight away?
Okay, one thing was our original design was in a star shape, right? So we had about 3 modules and it was a star shape. One of the first things they said, what if the middle pod, just the middle point of the star, there's a mistake and there's a fatal error there. You have a big problem because you can't go to the other side. So that's what we came with a circular thing, the torus idea, that if one of these pods complete a fatal accident, something happens, it blows up, then every astronaut can still go to every other part of the habitat, right? So that was one of the things that we definitely changed. Another thing was, and that is because we had somebody there from Halley 6, from the Antarctic mission, from the British Antarctic Survey. First question he asked, hey, where's your workshop? I was like, what do you mean workshop? Is that like half the time they were there, we fixed stuff. Yeah. That's, and he was one of the people based there, and he was there because he was one of these engineers who was super practical. He could weld, he could construct something, he could do science experiments, he could do electronics, he could do anything, this guy. And he said, like, that's what you need. So we changed it and we made a workshop. And you can see that here. A workshop with 3D printers, digital fabrication lab, and so forth. So if something breaks, we can just mend it, fix it, make our own stuff.
So yes,
sorry. So I was going to ask the shell here that protects us. What is the level of radiation protection you're going to get from that? Because this is the big question, isn't it, for long duration missions? Yeah. What is the level of radiation protection?
Well, you're always going to get more radiation, right? And we have about 1.5 meters. Right, and we did it out of regolith. So protects quite a bit, but when you have solar storms, you might then need to have an extra shelter on top of that. So this is actually really good for the day in, day out radiation. You might need a storm shelter, but we also spoke to scientists who are looking at creating your own magnetic sphere around it. It's like Star Trek, right? Yeah. It's like your own force field around it temporarily. But that would need lots and lots of energy as well. So that is, again, a bit of an issue.
So you're going to need some sort of underground bunker.
That might be. If there's a massive solar storm, they might have to retreat to a bunker.
Or a nice lava tube.
Or a nice lava tube, yeah.
So, talking of power then, is this going to be solar or nuclear, or is that not?
It's nuclear. So we looked at, the things that we looked at for this design, we didn't do any science fiction. Yeah. We took bits that we know people are looking at. The microwave technology that sinters the regolith. There's PICES in Hawaii, a research organization. The German space lab is looking at that. So lots of people have been looking at that. So we're kind of comfortable. Yes, they'll figure it out in time. And for the power, we're using the kilopower nuclear reactors that NASA has been developing. And some of the rovers is some of the NASA in NASA Swamp Works is developing. So we kind of, as an architect, took bits and bobs together that we knew, this is almost there, this might happen.
Yeah, so going back to that, so clearly sort of additive manufacturing and 3D printing is going to be, is pretty critical, isn't it, for something like this? As in, you've got your workshop, you can't just order from Amazon and have a next day delivery. It's an 8-month delivery, so, even though it's Jeff Bezos.
And a kind of expensive one. But,
and a very expensive one. So you've got to be making stuff. So in your line of business with architecture, have those technologies transformed the way that you think about things now? And how long has that transformation been happening?
Well, the 3D printing.
The whole.
Yeah. Well, I think it has. Interestingly enough, I think in different industries, architecture is a really hard one to crack because it's really big. 3D printing is good for small objects, right? Yeah. 3D printing architecture is okay, but in very specific places, like Mars. Yeah. There's no other way to print autonomously. On Earth, we haven't done that many 3D printed buildings yet. There's still a thing to crack, I think. So I've actually was on the first research group that did concrete 3D printing in the world. That was in 2008. Yeah. So I've been involved in it for a long time. But we're still not there yet, I think, to find the right applications for it on Earth.
Right. Okay. Can I ask
this project here, who's financing it? Where does the finance come for this? For your project?
For my project, okay. So I work for Hassel Studio. We're a large architectural practice, and we do lots of research as well. So we thought this was an excellent project to really start looking at really difficult issues like sustainability and circular economy. And for us, it's like a test project to kind of try a few things out, learn new things, and then to apply it on our projects on Earth. Because we're a large architecture practice. This is not what we do day in, day out. This is just a small research project we do.
So it's funded within your architectural practice?
Yes, it's part of a research project. Yeah.
And do you find with this kind of research that you get a spin-off back into the kind of more day-to-day, I'm presuming it's not day-to-day, but the sort of day-to-day design work that you do for like terrestrial architecture?
No, absolutely. Like working, for example, with the furniture designer, 3D printing furniture, we're already thinking what is next. Then the racking system, you could probably apply this in a house, in a small London flat, because it's movable. It's actually a very simple system behind it, and I can imagine applying this in a home really easily.
So it's like expanding your kind of, giving yourself new parameters to think about has given you some new ways to think about the parameters you already had, I suppose. Amazing. But the. Why SLS? Was that just because of the size of the fairing that it had, that just literally its capability to...
Well, it was for NASA, the project, and that's why we kind of... we got a lot of information on it, so we weren't quite sure what... Yeah. We just made a decision there.
And I suppose it's a realistic... It's a
pretty realistic thing, so...
Yeah.
So how many of your architects are space enthusiasts? I mean, is that...
quite a lot of them. Yeah. Everybody gets really excited about the project always, They all want to come to the exhibition and all that. So, everybody has been really, really enthusiastic about it. And kind of...
Has it developed people's interest in space exploration then? I mean, have you got people who came into this with no knowledge whatsoever of space, or very little, and then developed it as they went through the project?
I think so, because it also opens up that, this is not just for kind of space engineers. Everybody can get involved. Everybody can start thinking about it, because thinking, you don't need to be an expert in anything. It's just logical, proper thinking. So, and design. I think design is such an interesting field, and it also opens up this idea that, hey, we can design space habitat. What else can we design, right? So it opens that attitude of like, we can get involved in different things because we do have a value. We undersell ourselves quite often.
I do like your point about ISS and interior design and making it
terrible.
Psychological.
Literally,
absolutely
because it has been designed by engineers, and that's no disrespect to engineers, but you need creative design type people to come into it.
Raymond Loewy, one of my heroes, first designer to work in space. He was involved on Skylab, right? Which is basically really big because it was massive, right? Skylab is a big tin, right? Metal tin in space. They brought him in to consult, and the space engineers were like, "Oh, what is this designer gonna do, right? Is he gonna choose the color?" He did choose the color, but he also did 3 other things. First thing, gave a personal space to each of the astronauts. Imagine being months. It was months they were around, right? Give him a personal space. Second, give him a table, because in the original design, the astronauts would just have a little flip-down tray from the wall of the thing, sitting next to each other, not facing each other, and having a conversation how their day was. Imagine that. Right? The engineers did not think it was necessary. Third thing, the engineers did not think it was necessary to have a window. He fought super hard to get a window in. And they got a window in, right? And then you might think like, it'd be crazy going in a spaceship around Earth in orbit and never seeing Earth. Right?
Because the astronauts say that the window is one of the most important things in the ISS.
And think about this: the cupola in the ISS, right? You know how long it took to get installed?
A long time.
23 years, from design to installation. Always cost engineered out. It's not necessary, and I think it revived the ISS. People got more interested in the ISS. People forgot that we had a space station, right? Suddenly with a cupola in there, people are like, oh, right.
Well, it's revitalised the photography from ISS because the astronauts can sit up there and actually play around with images.
Well, you know, and we've all of us, all 3 of us have put some money towards the ISS, so it's like we want something back, right? Just give us a photo, just give us something.
Exactly.
Yeah, so before you started working on like space habitats, and after working on space habitats, where do you lie on the optimism of people actually getting to Mars and living there? Has your view that it's going to be further away or nearer from the beginning to the end, or are you sticking where you were at the beginning of the project?
I'm kind of sticking where I was at the project, I think. You know, so this is not. You know, this is definitely not a flag planting mission, right? This is a bit further in the future. It is the 2nd, 3rd mission or something like that to Mars, we think. But we think it's actually quite feasible. Is it going to be in the next few years? Well, maybe not. But 2030s, I'm still very hopeful. Look, I hope I can still, in my career, work on it. And maybe my kids are all under 15, so they might be the real Martians.
Yeah. Okay, so you've remained that you've got that optimism. Yeah. Okay.
I do look at it from the generational point of view, the younger generation coming through, and how differently they view this to say people who are now quite old. Whether you've related this to older people and to younger people, and actually got the enthusiasm of younger people, because when you tap into that, anything's possible. So they look at that and say, brilliant, let's just do it. Whereas older people will say, well, you know, hang on, there are too many problems with it. There's this problem and that problem, you know. So it's kind of getting that childlike enthusiasm for it.
And this might be a funny thing, but like a childlike enthusiasm, that's what designers do, right? We are there, and yes, I know there might be an issue with this airlock. We haven't quite figured that out yet, but that's okay, right? I don't need to stop. I can keep on imagining. But it's also really important that we don't just do something just pure fantasy science fiction. And that's what we really try to do. And my latest project here with Hassel is really trying to bring in this mission architecture, really think about everything. There's loads of spreadsheets and with all sorts of things behind this as well that all feed into the graphic and then really into the final architecture. It's this be kind of, you know, grounded in science and engineering, but don't stop imagining.
I've got one final question then, which is if you could bring back a hero of yours from the past to help you on this, who would it be?
Oh, it's got to be Raymond Loewy, right?
Right.
It's got to be him.
Excellent. Thank you very much for talking to us.
This is great.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Thanks.
The Interplanetary Podcast is alive!
Sorry about the noises. I was at the Design Museum and there was all sorts kicking off
Matt,
in there.
Noises means passion, okay? So don't beat yourself up.
That's good. Good.
That was incredible. So, yeah, thank you so much, Xavier. Like, how interesting was that?
It was super, super interesting. Jamie, I want to just quickly do a science article of the week.
Well, you better.
It comes from Geographical Research Letters, and it's Widespread Shallow Water Ice on Mars at High and Mid Latitudes by Sylvain Piqueux et al.
Love it.
And basically, this is a map of where we should be landing when we go to Mars, because the water, you can dig, literally you can take a spade and dig the water out.
Well, take your bucket with you, your bucket and spade and your rubber ring.
Yeah, and so it's only 2.5 centimeters below the surface in certain areas. So it's.
Wait, are we still talking about the? Oh,
yes, yeah,
carry on.
Yeah, and so yes, it's just this really cool map that they've managed to develop, and they've used another NASA mission, the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter (MRO), and the Mars Climate Sounder instrument on there, and Mars Odyssey Orbiter, and used the Thermal Emission Imaging System, or THEMIS, on there, and they've been analysing Mars's surface and how it changes during the seasons, and have managed to use that information to work out where the water is close to the surface.
Wow. Okay, should we run through it?
It's not a massive surprising result, the water being near the surface. But this particular study does three really important things. It shows that there's water at very shallow depths that's accessible with limited equipment. It shows that there's a continuous regional coverage even at mid-latitudes. And they've got this map that shows with reasonable, moderate spatial resolution where you should be going to land to try and get some of this stuff.
Could the ice map be turned into drinking water?
Well, it is all about ISRU.
Oxygen?
Absolutely, everything, Jamie.
Well, that's why they need me there.
Exactly. And that means you don't have to bring it from Earth. So this map almost certainly will be one of the things that NASA or whoever goes to Mars first with some humans, etc., might decide to land in using this map to guide them.
Good luck, team.
So yeah, that was a cool paper out this week. A huge shout out to our Skylon level Spodcats.
Oh my God, yes. Can I chuck some names at you, Matt?
Go.
Anthony Peggs.
Legend.
Ordunvala.
Legend.
Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Bob Hodges.
Legend.
Christopher Andresen.
Legend.
Darren Fuchs.
Legend.
What about James Godwin?
Legend.
What about John Bennett?
Legend.
Julio Aprea.
Legend.
Carol Sim.
Legend.
Mark Schwern.
Legend.
Matt Gillian.
Legend.
Patrick Hayward.
Legend.
Rob Anna Bull.
Legend.
Stas Shusha.
Legend.
Sven Newhouse.
Legend. They are all legends, Jamie.
Wow.
That is the Skylon level
What a crew.
Spodcats.
How, Matt, do you join this club?
You just go to patreon.com/interplanetary to join these people and maybe join us on Ye Olde Discord.
Ye Olde Discordy, and join the now infamous banter.
Bants.
We hate the word banter.
And bant's terrible.
Yeah, bants.
Jamie.
Yeah.
It's quite a big week on the old space launches, so I thought I'd just do you a rundown very quickly. You ready?
Here we go.
Strap yourself in. So,
I'm in.
16th of December, we have got this is a bit of a boring one. Long March 3B, couple of Beidou Earth navigation sats. Then we've got on the 17th of December, we have a Falcon 9 that's taking off Cape Canaveral with some Japanese Singapore geosynchronous comms sat. But here's a really cool one. We were talking about the cosmic vision of ESA. Well, one of the first small cosmic mission, Cheops, is taking off on a Russian Soyuz with a frigate upper stage, hopefully on the 17th of December, flying with a couple of CubeSats. So that's going to be Cosmo, an Earth observation. Then there's this ESA OpsSat, which is some experimental fast computer. Then Then it's got ISAT, which is Zodiacal Light, which Brian May will be pleased about, and another environmental technology demonstration sat, the Kness Angels.
Matt, you realise that when you said Brian May, before you said that, I was already singing One Vision in my head.
Oh.
Gimme, 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 fried chicken.
Talking of fried chicken, on 20th December, China launched a Long March 4B with the first ever Ethiopian satellite. So Ethiopia are joining space.
What's that got to do with fried chicken?
Well, I know they like fried chicken in both China and Ethiopia, Jamie.
Okay. Right, I'm off to dream about plasma physics. What are you up to, Matt?
Jamie, there's one. We got to the biggest launch of the goddamn week.
Oh, go on.
An Atlas V carrying the CST-100 Starliner.
How could I miss that?
Commercial crew development on its 30-day mission to test the CST-100 Starliner, of which Russia have been apparently sending tweets saying, oh, by the way, it takes off on Russian engines, so America is still using Russia to get to space, which is a little bit stupid, being that they're just about to lose millions and millions and millions and millions of pounds because they don't need to book Soyuz seats anymore. So,
Matt,
never mind.
I've told you millions of times to stop saying millions of times.
Does it remind you of Trump?
It really does.
Okay. Well, Jamie, let's not get political. Let's wish our Spodcats a lovely weekend.
Have a lovely weekend, everybody, and I hope wherever you are, you have a good one.
And I hope the general election here in the UK didn't spoil it for our UK listeners.
Yes. Let's hope not. We don't know yet because we're recording this the day before. But let's hope it's a good one. And if it's not, then, well, we'll win in 5 years' time.
Well, don't worry, everyone. Whatever happens, remember, it's not the end of the world. If it's not the result that you were looking for, there'll be another time to vote. And
At least we live in a democracy. And I'd like to leave you with namaste, which means welcome.
Right, okay, Jamie, on that random bit of language, bye-bye, Spodcats!
Bye.